Right.
You keep asking him, you ready? You ready?
All
Forgot.
right, man. We live. All right, Shalom, Israel, Shalom, Shalom. Right, peace and blessings to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. Want to give all honor and glory, right, to the Most High God, Yahweh, in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. And also want to give a shout out to Mary of Bethany, right, that anointed our King with the precious ointments before His burial. And also shout out to our ancestors that fought and lost their lives behind not breaking the commandments of the Most High God, man. So today's lesson, today's Wisdom Wednesday lesson is going to be going into a few things to know before coming in this truth, man. Um, I think it's a good lesson. Well, I hope it's a good lesson, but I think it's a good lesson for people that's just coming into the knowledge of who they are according to the Bible, what they must be doing as being the Israelites according to the Bible. And I think this also something that I wish I would have knew first coming into this truth, because I kind of came in this thing quick. So there's some things I really didn't know until down the line of me just learning lessons, just being in this truth from year to year, man. So before we get into the lesson, the brother gonna play a video of this brother blowing the shofar to start us off.
Let me know if you can hear it.
Fun. Right? All praise to the Most High for the mighty shofar blowing. But yeah, like I was saying, man, it's just different things. I got a few of them, and the brothers might have a few as well that they want to touch on. But it's just these just the chief things, or these the things that I thought about. Um, these just the few things that I thought about of people that need to know these things before coming into the truth. I think these things are very, very important, man. So the first one I got on the list, number one, is persecution will come. So King, can you give me John 15-18? Persecution is gonna come. It might come in all different type of ways. Like with me, and I think this is how a lot of us was when we first came into the truth. We thought that everybody was just gonna accept it, like we did, like a lot of us, right? We thought people were just going. When we told people that we the Israelites, and we told them the truth behind Christmas, the truth behind Thanksgiving, the truth behind Easter, and the Sabbath day. We just thought people was gonna just come in and just accept it, like, wow, I never knew that. That is true. Let me put away Christmas. Let me put away Easter. Let me start keeping the Sabbath day. Let me go get me some fringes. But it was the complete opposite. Why? Because you got that, King.
John 15-18. It says, if the world hates you, you know that it hated me before it hated you.
Man. So that's a lot. Matter of fact, you can keep reading to you can read to 23.
If ye were of the world would love his own. But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. Remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my sayings, they will keep yours also. But all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me. If I had not come and spoken unto them, they had not had sin, but now they have no cloak for their sin. He that hateth me hateth my Father also.
Yeah, man. So this just something good to know. Coming into this truth, persecution gonna rise, man. You may lose family members, and you may lose your best friend, right? The person that you called when you needed something. You may lose the bond that you had with your parents or your auntie, right? Because you're not of the world. When you start keeping these commandments and come back to your nationality, you not of this world anymore. You can't do the things that the world do. So don't think it's strange when your family members don't want to be around you no more, right? They dodging you, they dodging your calls, they talking about you behind your back, they kick you out the family group chat. Your best friend, she deleted all y'all pictures on social media, and she blocked you because she's saying that you're in a cult, and she's saying that you acting different, and don't think it's strange, because this is why Christ said this. He said, if you were of the world will love his own. But because you are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hates you. So it's gonna be people that's talking about you, and you ain't even you ain't do nothing to them but tell them the truth. Right? You ain't do nothing to them but tell them the truth and really trying to save their soul. You told them that you don't need to be celebrating Christmas and Thanksgiving, bro. That's pagan. They put down the crab legs, shrimp, pork, because that's against the dietary law in Leviticus 11, and they unclean animals, and that's giving you heart problems and health issues. All you doing is telling them the truth, but they don't want to hear it. They hate you because they hated the Most High. They hated His Son. Well, all He did was told the truth, and He was a perfect man. If they hate the perfect man, how much more you? Can you get let me get some more on persecution? Luke 12:53. Yeah, so
Luke 12.
Luke chapter 12 verse 53. So persecution is going to rise, man. So just don't look at it strange when you first come into the truth and you like, dang, why they? I'm telling them out the Bible, why they acting funny, right? Because you are moving like Christ. You gonna get that same. You gotta drink of that cup. You gotta carry your cross. You are doing the same thing, you're getting the same treatment that Christ got when He was walking the earth. But you got it, King.
Come, man. This is Luke 12:53. The father shall be divided against the son, and the son against the father, the mother against the daughter, and the daughter against the mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law.
Hey, so this is a Shalom, King. But this
Shalom.
is Khan Shalom. This can be, we just reading this. This is red letters, right? This is the words of Christ, right? And part of persecution is something I mentioned in the beginning. What I was saying, just of you just being in His truth. Just say you a father, right? You are a father in His truth, and your kids not in the truth. They may not want to kick it with you no more like that. They may be trying to dodge you and don't want to call you because they look, oh, he's weird. Right? That's not the same. That's not my dad from 10 years ago. That's not my dad from 3 years ago. Right? You might be a mother in His truth, and you have a husband. You in the truth, he not in the truth. Right? He may try to leave you, man. Right? But you got it, King.
Come, man. I know there's a student. I work at a university. There's a student worker, and I think she might be going into her sophomore year, but her dad is in the truth, right? And so much so that he was in the truth before she was born. Her mom isn't in the truth, but her dad named her a Hebrew name, right? She got a Hebrew name and everything, first and last name. But I bring that up to say, kind of like what you said, she's not really for the truth. I kind of see her coming back to the truth, maybe just because she still doesn't eat pork and stuff like that. But she does go around here and with her friends, and she kind of allows her friends to think that her dad is a weirdo, what I'm saying, for being an Israelite. And that's just what comes with it. That's the territory that we've chosen to be. Things that we do are not of the world, or not like the world at all. So they can be weird to those that look upon us, right?
Yeah, man.
I actually had a Salaki, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go. You know, you go ahead, King.
No, I
I thought you.
was gonna say, man, it's probably no way for me to find it, but I saw a kind of like a meme on Facebook, and it was pretty interesting, man. But describing it doesn't do it justice, so I won't bring it up unless I can find it.
But yeah, man. Lord, when you find that video, King. But yeah, man. It's just the persecution coming because, like the scripture said, you are not of this world, and you gotta truly count the cost and just be thankful for that. You not of the world. You should think it's strange when everybody accept you though. Like if you so called in this truth, I'm gonna use this example for the people that's already in the truth, or coming in right, already been in for a few months, a few years. If you already in this truth and everybody just accept you, or when they come around you, they comfortable just in sin, like they just if they ain't got no issue with you being there, it's like, are you really in this thing, man? Or are you really moving in this truth, man? Because people should even then being in this truth, if they know that you read the Bible or you teach the Bible, some people will put their cigarette out, or some people will come to you talking about the Bible. They already be like, oh yeah, bro, what's the word of the day? So and so. But if people just comfortable with calling you and telling you you in the truth, and they calling you, telling you, hey, let's go out to this party, and they keep calling you and telling you, hey, come to Christmas dinner, right? And you ain't telling them no, because you scared of persecution. They comfortable with calling you. I mean, when you first come into the truth, they may be comfortable. You may get these calls the first, the first 3 years that you've been true, 2 or 3 years in the truth. But once you keep saying no, they gonna get the routine. Okay, I ain't gonna ask them to come, cause I know they ain't coming. They ain't with that no more. But they'll try you the first 1 to 2 years. They're gonna try you to see if you stand on what you stand on. But if you keep saying no, they're gonna stop doing it. But you had some, King?
Man, if like the brother said, if people feel comfortable asking you to do folly, you gotta examine yourself. You gotta examine yourself. Like, am I being bold enough for the Lord? Because if people are because even in them first 2 years, like that first year, they might have been comfortable because it's a first year change. That second year, they might have asked you, but they might not have been comfortable asking you. You know what I'm saying? They're just testing the waters. You know what I'm saying? But if you got people around you that feel comfortable inviting you to folly, like, the twerk fest and spring break and all that, or going to the
Birthday
the gentleman's club, if you know what I mean, right? Hey, you're not. I'm here to say I don't think you're doing your job, because we're supposed to be a light, and hey, your light's not that bright if they're doing that, right? A few weeks back, man, maybe a month or two, I like to think of questions to ask people when we go on the street corners. I like to think of questions, and the question I had a few weeks back was, hey, you follow Christ? And if they would say, yeah, I would be like, well, you got any haters? You got any people that dislike you? And if they told me no, I would say, well, you're not a real follower of Christ. And, they might get a stank look on their face, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, hey, Christ told us we would be hated for his name's sake. If you don't got no haters, hey, you might not be a disciple for real. You're supposed to have some haters.
Got to.
That's supposed to be the outside, like that from the outside looking in. That should be one of the ways I could tell you're a follower of Christ, if you got some haters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say too, man. To go along with this is a sidebar, right? No pun intended. But for this lesson, the title is a few things to know before coming to this truth. One thing that if you come into this truth, man, and I'm kind of biased, but I think it would be really beneficial if you kind of play that old The Rock. You know what I'm saying? That Seven Trumpets.
For
He said
sure.
a lot of good gems throughout those lyrics in there that just kind of ring true, especially for people that's coming to the truth for what you're gonna be witnessing. He had a line in there that said, "I had to cut you off. You was tempting me, living sinfully, intentionally, trying to cut me off of my path." Right. And that's what you will witness, like the brother, the Bible Prince Obadiah was saying, right? When you come into this truth, you're gonna have people deliberately asking you, inviting you, or doing things around you, trying to knock you off your path, right? Trying to see if you'll cave in, trying to see if they can irritate you, and it's just something that's gonna be prevalent for you to be on your radar to understand and know, right? But that's a side note, sidebar, man. If you guys are new to the truth, man, check out that album called Seven Trumpets. I think it's everywhere, right? Apple Music, SoundCloud, whatever. It's a very good beginner-friendly album for coming into this truth of knowing who you are.
Yeah, man. Hey, The Rock made some good music, man. I remember. I feel like 2020, man, 2021. It was a year of truth music to me, man. Like the truth music. I remember. I think Navia dropped his first Repent album, and I want to say that was either 2020 or 2021. I think it was 2020 around COVID time when
I think
he had dropped
it might have been 2021.
Repent.
The Yellow album.
One. Yeah, Navia.
21.
It was. I thought it was 2020.
I want to say it was. I don't know. I could be wrong.
You might be right. You might be right.
If it was 2020, it was the end of that, towards the end of 20. Nah, because I think it was still hot outside when he dropped it.
I don't know, man.
I think you're right though, cause I think you're right. I think it might have been 2020.
2020.
Yeah. I think you're right.
It might have been 2020, 2020. It's somewhere around 2020, 2021.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. You also got to remember too, it's not the people, it's Satan that's on the people. So this is what you must remember. It's a spiritual battle. Matter of fact, can you hold this, King, and give me Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 13? Right. Paul said it best, right? It's a spiritual battle. So we can't look at it like, oh, my mama, she's scoffing against the word. My uncle, he's scoffing. My best friend, she's scoffing against the word. She's scoffing against me. No, she is just Satan on them, testing you.
This is Ephesians 6 and 13. It says, "Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, having done all to stand."
Right. Keep going. Keep going, King.
It says, "Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God."
Can you give me 12? Ephesians 6 and 12? My bad. Yeah. That's not where I want to start it. But that Ephesians 6 mean, man. Paul giving you a cheat code on how to overcome, these overcome the wicked higher ups, these spirits.
Man, this is Ephesians 6 and 12. It says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places."
Right. So, a lot of times, we look at things as carnal, like, oh, she want to fight me. Oh, he got anger issues. Oh, he got what they call it, a manipulation spirit, or he be manipulating, but we're not knowing that these are spirits, man. Right? These are spirits that's on these people, that's dwelling inside that vessel. So when persecution rise, and you start you in that fire, and you have to choose between your family or the Most High, or you have to choose between going to your grandma Christmas dinner, or her Thanksgiving dinner eating pork. You have to choose to either go there or stay home and get persecuted. You gotta make that choice. And you have to know that that's Satan actually behind the scenes trying to get you to go off. So this is what you must always remember when you first come into this truth. You gonna get tempted. You gonna get persecuted. You ain't gonna see a lot of people try to escape the persecution and try to hide from it. You know, you can't. You're gonna get tested. You're gonna get persecuted. I mean, it's only a matter of time, but you have to be strong and endure it and overcome it and pass that test. So I get one more precept going into the persecution side. Can you give me Matthew 10:36, King?
Come on, man. And you know, being tempted, tested, and persecuted not only is spiritual, right? And this is why it's so hard to be in this truth, because it's spiritual and physical. You may be like, man, I'm pretty good at discernment. I'm pretty good at, you know, reading people, and oh, he got to manipulate the spirit. I'm pretty good at looking at the person and not their characteristics. You may be good at that, right? And pointing out the spirit. But are you good at the physical? You think about your hold on one second. But can you think about the physical, right? For example, you may want to go to the holiday function because you know your grandmother is old. You know your grandfather is old. They're not going to live that much longer. And you may say, you know what, I'm going to spend as much time as possible as I can with them before they're gone, right? Sometimes we get tested with the physical. You might lose your job, right? Because you choose not to do something that's wicked. Are you going to be able to stand the test, right? Are you going to be able to pass the test? You know, when Christ said, let the dead bury the dead, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to let some of this physical stuff roll off your back. You got to let some of this physical stuff do what it do, right? And understand that this life is a shadow of things to come. So don't hold this life in high regard like you're missing out on something or you're missing out on someone, right? Pecan.
It's a good point. It's a great point.
Con. This is Matthew 10 and verse 36. It says, a man's foes shall be they of his own household.
Right. So Yahweh Shai, right? He was telling you that a lot of our enemies, right? A lot of our issues, a lot of our headaches are going to come from people within our own household, right? People within our own families, man. Cause they be the main. Let's keep it 100. They be the main ones scoffing. Family members, they be the main ones got something to say about what you do. A lot of people on the streets, they may say stuff here and there, but it really be your family members because they've been knowing you your whole life. Especially if you got a background of you used to sell dope, or you got a background of you in and out of prison, or you was a woman and you was a stripper. They ain't gonna let you live that down. What is he talking about the Bible? He been in and out of jail. He's a crackhead. He's a crack baby. He been on crack since he was 5 years old. But he's trying to come and tell me I'm an Israelite. He's trying to come and tell me that I need to repent when he was on crack. Our family members love to bring up the past. And you don't even do that stuff no more. They'd rather see you. They'd rather you be your old self and not repent. They don't want to see you repent. They'd rather see you the same wicked Tyrone, right? That was on the streets and that was fornicating and being a weirdo. They'd rather see you being that than change your name to Hezekiah and come in this truth and actually be a light. They don't want to see that, man. So be aware and get yourself prepared. That don't be surprised that the persecution that you get the most comes from your family members. And that's real.
Man. A lot of times too, man, it comes from our parents being our spiritual leaders, pretty much for our whole lives. And then at one point, we kind of, catch ourselves trying to teach them and guide them spiritually. And for them, it's something that they can't really process. because they're used to you coming to them for questions about the Bible or, leading them spiritually and stuff like that. So it's kind of catching them off guard to the point where they either think you're kind of bugged out or they think it'll come full circle. He'll snap out of it. She'll snap out of it. It's almost like if you was ever in school and the teacher was teaching something, but you had that one smart kid in the class, and he raised his hand and he kind of like, well, actually, shouldn't it be X, Y, and Z, right? And then the teacher kind of envious with him a little bit, kind of shut him down a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I know I've witnessed that several times, but that's how it is when the teacher is being taught again. You know what I'm saying? The Bible speaks about that too. But that's literally what's happening right now. So it can cause tension in the household because he's choosing a younger generation, right? And for the older generation, it's a hard pill to swallow. But just understanding that with that comes, in-house foes, like it says in verse 36. But
Con. Real, it's real, man. Brothers telling you some real stuff, man. So, hopefully take heed, you know what I'm saying, listen to what brother's saying, man, because it's going to come. Think not as strange when it comes, right? So the second one I had down was, and I know every brother on the screen right now can agree with this one. Everybody is not sincere just because they wear fringes. Let's keep it 100. Every brother, I know most of these topics come from just me. Just realizing when you first come into this truth, right? You happy. You on fire when you first come into this thing, man. You happy. You buy your fringes shirt. You buy your fringes. So you feeling like, okay, everybody that got fringes on, or everybody that's teaching the word, that's saying Kum Shalarala, and we thinking everybody's sincere just because they Israelites and they know who they is. But you gotta understand. Even the people that you may watch on videos, right? I would say the bigger, what's the word I'm looking for? The household
names.
Yeah, the household names, right?
The ones that are are, I don't know,
the faces of the faces.
Faces. Four faces.
The mainstream camps, the mainstream organizations, man. Like we was talking past weekend, the Israelite celebrities, man. The famous ones. I can say that the famous ones, because they do have a level of fame, right? The famous. If you listen to the famous ones,
well known.
Well known.
So that's when even then the well-known ones, and you may just see a brother at the store and he got fringes on, and you be like, okay, yeah, this brother, he gotta be sincere, right? He gotta no. Go ahead and pray yourself. Just because a woman have a dress and a head wrap doesn't make them sincere. Right? Just because a brother been in the truth about 20 years, he got a mighty beard, doesn't make them sincere. This is what you got to keep in mind, man. Don't be fooled. That's why you have to try the spirit. Try the spirit, man, and see if this person is sincere. So, King, can you give me 1 John 4:1?
Man, like the brother said, trying the spirit, that comes with jumping out of the fan seat, right? You got to stop fanboying or fangirling or looking at somebody in admiration and look at them on a what's the level of you got to start looking at them from a brother or a sister standpoint and really critiquing them. Like if you have an older brother or a younger brother, an older sibling or a younger sibling, whatever it may be, you're going to keep it real with your siblings. You know what I'm saying? So you got to look at each person in this truth like that. And, that takes spending some time around that person, right? Yep. If you can't spend some time around a person, you have no business claiming that they're wicked or they're or they're righteous. You can't do that, especially in this truth. You got to be able to be around somebody, right, when the camera's not rolling.
Or put your trust in them, right? Too many brothers and sisters are going out here getting counsel from people that they don't even know. Just because you see their face on YouTube, you think that they're worthy enough to give you some righteous counsel, and you don't know what they do or what they're known to do behind closed doors, or none of that, right? One thing you got to understand in this truth is, just like anything else, you can take it back to the old saying: everything that glitters ain't gold. Everything's not what is made to look like or seem to be, right? You'll find that you hang out with a brother or hang out with a sister, and you thought they was the epitome of what it means to be an Israelite. Come to find out, the brother or the sister is acting like the most wickedest person you've ever met, right? They're doing things in front of you that you're like, is this the same guy? Is this the same woman that I've
They
been?
acting like your friends from the world.
You know what I'm saying? If not worse. You know what I'm saying? Because now they got the Bible and they try to justify their folly, right? I'm just saying this to let you know that don't put your trust in no man that you see, even if he talks good, right? Even if the sister, if she looks good, or if she seems pretty and has a soft spirit about her, right? Don't trust none of that until you actually get to know somebody. I think Sirach says it best: "Be thou continually with a man that you know who keeps the commandments, not that you think keeps the commandments," right? Not that gives off the impression that they keep the commandments, but one that you know to keep the commandments. And like the brother said, to do that, you got to spend time with somebody before you can trust them. But
Yeah, facts, man. Just because a person can teach, right? Just because a person got, I know they you watching the video, you so amazed because they bringing out all the precepts off the dome. They know what precepts to bring out, right? They cutting up the heathen. Then they talking smooth to our people, bringing our people in. They got a whole bunch of people following them. Don't fall to that and be like, okay, this person, he got to be righteous, and you can't wait to see this person, and you can't wait to see him in person. You ready to take a picture with him? Like, nah, man, these are regular people just like you. You know, they in the flesh just like you, man. So don't make these people your idols. Because that's what it is.
That's what it is, man. I can't tell you how many gatherings and fellowships and unity camps I've been to. And like the brother just said, people come with the camera already pulled up on their phone. They just keeping it by their side. You know what I'm saying? They're ready to take pictures. They're ready to say, Shalom, 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 sis. You're so beautiful, sis. Shalom, I'll be watching, I'll be tapped in. Can I get a picture real quick, queen? Like, and this is all stuff that brothers may have fell victim to when you first came into the truth. And that's why we're giving you our wisdom now. You don't want to look back, because right now in the truth is a time where it's like there's people's true colors is coming out, and somebody might look back and be like, dang, I invited that person to a feast day. Dang, I had that person all up in my house. Dang, I took a picture with that brother and posted it. Dang, I shared something personal with that brother. I don't know if I could trust him no more. So a lot of people are reflecting back on these people that they used to idolize, and now they regret it. So before you get to that point, listen to some of this advice, and don't just be naive and ignorant to the fact that people are people, right? And nobody is Yahweh Shai, nobody's Christ, nobody's the Messiah, right? No matter how good they can phrase something, no matter how much charisma they have, no matter how many trends they start, none of that matter, man. And you'll find yourself caught up if you are given over to those things.
It just brings back a scenario to mind, right? A real scenario is like, I remember we went to a feast day. Somebody was hosting it at their school, and we all know the brother in the so-called Israelite community right now that's, kind of, going out sad, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? And this brother showed up with his camp, his entourage, and they were kind of treated with star treatment. You know what I'm saying? These
You would
brothers
have thought Yahweh Shah had entered the building with the disciples.
and yeah, man, and we ain't naming no names, man. That's not what we here to do. I'm just painting a picture for you guys. That brothers are so sincere that we want to respect people and things that they do and stuff like that, not knowing who they are. But it's important to take into account that you don't want to do this to everybody. You really want to do it to nobody. Give somebody star treatment, let them sit at the head of your school and stuff like that. Let them have words in front of your congregation and all that stuff, just to turn around a couple months later and to see like, dang, I had this person up in my school, giving him, the green light to sit him in the head seat and to talk to my congregation, and he had all this going on, right? To prevent that from happening, you treat everybody equal. You know what I'm saying? You don't treat anybody, like the brother said, like they're Yahweh Shai, or
You don't do that. You
know
don't
what I'm
do that,
saying?
man.
You don't do that, because at the end of the day, mortal men will have you looking crazy.
Right, man. You know, the same event the brother talking about, and we've been to multiple events where people are not who they say they are, right? And we see the treatment, man. We've seen the treatment of certain people, and we know for a fact it's because people, their mind is not on this truth. Their mind is on the carnality of life. Their mind is on rank and and people and influence, right? That's what this generation has done, is made influencers, and influencers become idols and have fans, right? We had this event and brothers sitting around the table looking at this brother and his members, asking them questions like they're Yahweh Shai, like they're the Messiah, like they're Christ. They're asking them questions like, so how would you break down? So what you think about? Hey, I got a question for you. It's a random question. Why? And so they're sitting in front of this table, just and keep in mind, this is not even their organization's event. They just showed up as guests, but they had the head seat. And the Bible talk about that, people that sit, at the head seat, and they brought in their phylacteries and enlarged their garments, the borders of their garments and things of that nature. All that stuff has come back on the earth, man. And men literally have fell for the trap again. It's in our blood, I guess. We just don't want to listen. So we warning y'all. You on mute, King.
I was gonna say, man, before we read this, we're gonna come back to this, man. I want the brother Denal to break down Micah 3:11, man, because he put it in the chat the day, and I'm like, dang, bro. When he broke it down, when he put it in, I'm like the brother Azrael said, this is back. This spirit is back on the earth, and we see it. We see it every day in this truth. So you got it, King.
Come, man, I was reading this earlier today, and it kind of stuck out to me that Israel's still Israel. You know what I'm saying? We still doing the same things. We still have the same people in place. And I'll read it, what I sent to the brothers word for word. Right? I said this precept is funny. Micah 3:11. It reads, "The heads thereof judge for reward, and the priests thereof teach for hire, and the prophets thereof divine for money. Yet will they lean upon the Lord and say, is not the Lord among us? None evil can come upon us," right? Matter of fact, I will not read this word for word, just because I did say some subliminals in there, and I don't want nobody to pick up and think it's not that type of party, man. It's still all love out here, but we got to call a spade, man. When it goes into the heads thereof judge for reward, the heads, man, like, who should be elders, who should be judging righteously, they judge to preserve people's images, right? So you can get the reward of people liking you and things like that. And so you can get the reward, like we were just talking about, so you can sit at the head seat in other people's congregations and get treated with star treatment, right? They judge for reward, right? They judge to preserve image. The priests, they teach for hire. The so-called priests we have today, right? We go to every outlet trying to see if we can get on, so see if they can pay us to talk about the truth on their platform, right? Pay us to do a debate, right? We teach for hire, right? We're not really focused on teaching for free, right? It goes on to say the prophets who brothers say the prophets are on the street corners, right? Every week it said that the prophets, they're of divine for money, right? They have revelations, divine revelations, and they say, nah, it's gonna be $12.99 for you to, get this revelation that we just came up with, right? They divine for money. Yet will they lean upon the Lord and say, is not the Lord among us? None evil can come upon us. Every single time they judge unrighteously, every single time they teach for hire, they divine for money. What do they follow up by saying? They say, all praises to the Most High, right?
Mm-hmm.
The spirit and power of the Most High by way of his son, right? They always say that at the end, right? As if the Lord is signing off on this folly, and he's just not, right? And I have to share that with the brothers, because there's a mighty precept, man, and I think it is funny in its essence.
Yeah, man, that's true, man. Like all of this that the brother just read is what we see a lot in the so-called community. It's a lot of sparing people feelings. It's a lot of watered down judgment. It's a lot of people taking money, for the word. The word should never be charged. If Yahweh Shah was here on earth right now and he seen Negroes charging for the word, he would have pulled out that whip again and used it on a lot of the people that he would have used that same whip on a lot of people he would have used that whip on the people that a lot of people look up to, man.
Right.
He would have flipped the tables. They would have been mad at him. I'm just charging for, like, what comes through your mind to charge for a breakdown?
It's crazy, man, because we went over this yesterday in Proverbs 30, right? When we say, when you steal, and when you're poor and you steal, it makes the Most High look weak, because it makes it look like you don't trust the Lord to provide for you. Same thing for when you selling this truth, right? You selling this truth for money, because you saying, like, you can't do it for free, and the Lord can't, reward you the way you want to be rewarded. You know what I'm saying? It shows a lack of trust. Either that, or you just greedy as heck. You know what I'm saying? You're on mute.
Khan, to touch on that subject, to say that you want money, man, because people get their reasons on why they charge, and they may say, I'm not charging a lot, or they may say, I'm charging this much because it all boils down to, you believe you put the work in, right? If you're really sincere, you will understand that you would not be where you are spiritually, mentally, scholastically. You wouldn't be where you are without the Most High God. He gave you the intelligence. He gave you the wherewithal. He gave you the ambition and the motive to do what you're doing. You don't need to be paid for it, right? Because that right there, you should be grateful that he even did that. So a lot of brothers, they talk about, I put hours into this. I spent time away from my family for this, right? Or they'll compare it to you buying something from somebody else in the world, right? That has nothing to do with the actual truth of the matter. It has nothing to do with the actual truth, right?
What happened to stacking your riches in heaven?
Right. Everything that you do, I put on. We do these lessons. You think I gotta get paid for these lessons.
That's
I'm
insane,
spending
bro.
hours of my life on these lessons. I have to, the whole week I'm trying to put together precepts, right? That's how some of these mega church teachers, mega church pastors sound. And a lot of brothers, even in the truth, and sisters in the truth, have become just like that. Don't get it twisted, man. Your hard work ain't for nothing, but it's
Right.
definitely not for gain.
Right.
Right? Your hard work is for the Most High. If you get gain from that, you get fame from that, so be it. But to beg for it or to ask for it, it's kind of crazy, man. You know what I'm saying?
Let me paint a quick picture real quick, right? So in professional fishing, you have certain tackle brands that sponsor these professional anglers or professional fishers, right? And the brands oftentimes drop professional fishers from their brand, and then oftentimes get into it with them because of this reason, because they'll sponsor the professional fisher with this bait, right? That the bait that they came up with, the professional fisher will win a $300,000 tournament, and at the end of the tournament, it's always asked, what did you win the tournament? What bait did you win the tournament using? Right. And a lot of times the professional anglers, they will get up there and they'll hold up the wrong bait. They'll hold up a bait from a different company. Why do they do this? They do this to cut out the competition.
You're on mute.
They do this to cut out the competition, right? And when they cut out the competition, you know what I'm saying? That's cool for them, but at the same time, they're not being genuine to the real fishers out there that want to learn how to catch big fish like them. And now you got, now this is a sidebar, but now you got fishermen going out buying the wrong bait and not catching no fish, and why they can't catch no fish like you, right? It's the same thing we do in this truth, right? We're supposed to be fishers of men, and instead of letting people learn from our success, learn from the bait that we use to win souls, right? We like to charge it, we like to gatekeep, and we like to be in competition with each other, right?
I think the brother Isaiah had something. He was saying something before he left. I don't know if he had something. If he wanted to say something. It sounded like he was talking before he had left. It might have just, he probably wanted to say nothing. I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man. So can you give me go back to that 1 John 4:1? Like that's this is something that's very important, man. It's very important because when you start, putting a rank on, like when you start to the point where you idolizing the person, they can't do no wrong in your eyes, and you don't want to have that, right? If you to the point where you idolizing your favorite teacher and they do something wrong and all they got to do is apologize or say they didn't do it and you quit to believe them, like that's the issue, man. So you got it, King.
This is 1 John chapter 4, verse 1. It says, "Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of God, because many false prophets are gone out into the world."
So you gotta understand, man. No, the spirit of false prophets is indeed on the earth, man. We speak about the Christians, about being the false prophets, but it's a lot of Israelites that are false prophets, and they're not sincere prophets, I should say. They're not doing it sincerely for the kindness of their heart. They're doing it for gain, whether it's the gain of money, whether it's the gain of fame or subscribers or members of their organization, whether it's for women. So it's not a sincere spirit behind it. And like the brother was saying earlier, one of the brothers said you gotta, when they say try the spirit, you gotta be around that person in order for you to just, talk well on this person's name and just to get this person credit you got to be around this person. Don't just watch him on video and then you saying he's a good person. Cause you mess around and watch the brother on you might watch the brother videos and the brother seem mighty. So when you go and see him in person, you talking to him, and then he pull out some cigarettes and start hitting the bottom of the pack. He getting a cigarette out. He asked you, so how long you been in the truth, brother? Yeah, man, I've been in the truth. Well, I've been in the truth about 30 years, bro. You can learn something from me. And you looking at him like, bro, you smoking cigarettes?
And you
he might.
You're not even asking him like, hey, is that lawful? You just thinking since he's such a mighty teacher, it must be lawful. I'm not gonna question him about it.
Yeah, a lot of people don't say nothing.
Brother doing that, I guess you could say impersonation a little too well, bro.
Chill out, man. That's madness. That's madness, man. But that's how it be though, man. That's how it be. It be the people that you least expect, the ones that had a crazy spirit on them, man. So that's why you have to try every spirit. Try that brother's spirit. Try that spirit.
I would say 50% of brothers that walk up to you at camp and say something like, yeah, man, I seen y'all over here, man. I had to come chop it up with y'all. You know, I believe in the truth. 50% of them have a joint tucked behind their ear. 50% of them.
Yeah.
And no fringes.
You start talking to them, and you know the conversation's going good, and they're like, yeah, Khan, man, yeah. They might even say Khan. You be like, yeah, but bro, hey, brother, hey, what's that behind your ear? You gotta get rid of that. Nah, man, I'm on my own journey, man. Hey, man, but y'all brothers right though, man. I got, what I'm saying. You be like, bro, just throw it away, like, and then that's when they walk off.
Yeah, man, it get crazy. No,
I got a precept too.
Go ahead, King.
Whoever shares screen, can y'all pull up? Well, I don't know which one I want to go. I had two in my head I was thinking about. I'll just go to 1 Corinthians 3. 1 Corinthians 3. Because, a lot of times, man, going back to the point that brothers was making, the last, I guess you could say, point of emphasis, speaking on, brothers charging for the word, brothers trying to give examples and thinking that, they got to monetize the work and labor that they put in for the truth. Really, they just have a poor understanding of, this right here, right? 1 Corinthians 3, and let me start at verse number 3. It says, "For ye are yet carnal, for whereas there is among you envying and strife and divisions, are ye not carnal and walk as men? For while one saith, I am of Paul, and another, I am of Apollos, are ye not carnal?" Verse 5, it says, "Who then is Paul and who is Apollos? But ministers by whom ye believed, even as the Lord gave to every man," right? And when you scroll down, this begins to emphasize the point that he's making. Verse 6, it says, "I have planted, Apollos watered, but God gave the increase. So then neither is he that planteth anything, neither he that watereth, but God that giveth the increase." Which, if I can bring up one more precept, can we go to Galatians 6:3 real quick? Galatians 6:3, right? Because if you plant and you water, you're not nothing, right? And the problem is sometimes we got too many people in this truth because of people that fangirl and fanboy, right? They begin to think that themselves are something. But what does Galatians 6:3 say? "For if a man think himself to be something when he is nothing, he deceiveth himself," right? We got brothers deceiving themselves, thinking that, they have the authority to charge this or charge that for you to understand the Bible a little bit better. Especially if you think it's something that's necessary for salvation. Why put a price tag on something that could save somebody's soul? It's too much mimicking of the world. And it's like the brothers were saying earlier, it's too much fangirl and fanboying. Then that's when you get people to, like the example that the brother Obadiah was just giving, you get people starting to turn the blind eye to sin because it's just like, surely these people are right. Like the brother Azrael said, surely these men are great men of renown. They can't be wrong about the word of God. Yeah, I might just go smoke me a cigarette too, And that's something that, again, to the topic of the lesson, we have to continue to know that we need to try these spirits. We need to make sure that even when you coming into the truth, right, you're not deceived by wise words. You're not deceived by wise words. You're not deceived by a great following, and you're not deceived by good looks, and you're not deceived by, I guess you could say, your hate or disdain for a certain religion, right? Because that's another thing that, and I'll yield after this. This is another thing that people do when they come into the truth. They have such a hate for, like, for instance, I came into the truth. I was a Christian, right? So when you start reading and studying the scriptures, you start growing a hate for Christianity that causes you to kind of like come into the truth, and then you find people that kind of on the same type of time as you, right? That hate Christianity, which is not wrong for wanting to hate the lies, and we want to dispel and debunk the lies. But again, there are things that are, I guess you could say, not expedient, or there are things that cause people to err when they come into the truth because they follow a certain people that's kind of more like-minded with them, and they don't really question, I guess you could say, the truth like they should. Regardless of how you feel, you should always ask those questions. And a lot of people have to do a better job at that, because if you ask yourself these questions ahead of time, if you review yourself and examine yourself ahead of time and examine people ahead of time, you'll stop running into situations where you realize that, oh, this brother really ain't what I thought he was. He a deceiver, or this sister really a off sister and X, Y, and Z, But just giving some examples, I yield. So like,
Con, man, hey, the fruits don't lie. You can't hide the fruits, man. You can't hide, the spirit behind you. So you could try, but it's gonna eventually come out. Your true fruits is gonna eventually show, man. Are they rotten fruits, right? Or are they fresh? That's why you gotta prove the person, man. So can you give me Matthew 7:15, King?
Matthew 15.
Matthew chapter 7 and verse 15.
Oh, Matthew 7 and 15. It says, Matthew 7 and 15, beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves.
So this is why you have to prove or try the spirit. Because if you just strictly just go off what they sing and how they look, you're going to fall every time. Because the Bible said false prophets come to you in sheep clothing. They come at you with smooth words. They come at you with the nice garment. Right? They come at you with the nice beard, and they come at you with these things, right? But but inwardly, this is what Christ was teaching when he was on the scene. You have to get your inner man clean. A lot of people don't want to hear that. A lot of people don't want to circumcise the heart. They don't want to circumcise their mind. They don't want to get their spirit right. People are rather look holy in the truth than actually be holy. Like they'd rather want to look good on that, which is nothing wrong with looking good in the truth. But if that's the only thing that you focus on, that's the number one thing you focused on, that's a problem. The brothers that want to look good they want to get the longest garment, right? With the nice head wrap. I mean, not head wrap, the head scarf. The sister with the beautiful dress with the head wrap, but the inward person is a demon. She boxing with her husband. She throwing him the gloves. He'll put the gloves on, Negro. What all that you was talking about, telling me to clean up what? I ain't cleaning up nothing for you. I ain't your slave. And she putting the gloves on, and they boxing back and forth. But she got a nice dress on when you see her though. She saying, Shalom, Aqua. Shalom. How you doing, sissy? But she beating her husband up behind closed doors.
Hey, I also wanted to see, like, in this passage, it says, "Ye shall know them by their fruits." Verse 20 says, "Wherefore by their fruits ye shall know them." I want y'all to know something, man. When you come in this truth, the fruits of somebody's labor are not their rank. It's not their the organization they're in. It's not how many people follow them. It's not how many views they get. When you look at somebody's fruits, you need to look at their life. I don't care what their rank is, what their position, how many followers they got, what their life look like. You need to know what they do for a living. You need to know what their spouse situation is like. How do they treat their kids? How do they treat their parents? What you need to know their testimony too. Like you need to know that's part of their fruit is their testimony and how they came into this thing. You need to know all of that because that's going to make you a good judge of character. You're going to know some of the temptations that they beat or some of the temptations they may struggle with. You're going to know how they treat people based on how they treat the closest people around them in their family, right? You over here getting advice from somebody that's never been married about your wife. It's crazy.
You submitting to somebody and you really don't even know what they do for a living. Somebody asks you what they do for a living. You're like, I think he kind of does that trading stuff. I don't know. I know he always on the computer. I don't know, but he be getting money though. You don't even know you don't even know who the person you're submitting to. You don't even know what they do for a living.
I don't even know if they getting money the righteous way.
I'm not saying it's a sin not to know. I mean, to know, people's whereabouts and stuff like that. But usually if you have a righteous man leading a group of people, usually he doesn't mind people knowing his like the things about his life, right? Because typically they should be blameless. They should have nothing to hide, right? I'm not saying be green, but typically the man that you're submitting to, he should be open enough to at least the people in his congregation. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, man. It's just man. I say this all the time. A lot of people know the Bible, but only a few people gonna live the Bible. That's why the Bible said many are called, but few are chosen. There's a lot of people called to be in this truth, but only a handful are gonna be chosen because only a handful are actually living what the Bible said, or what the Bible say, and not putting on the front for social media, for their followers and things like it. It's a lot of people that just make videos just to look and talk to people in the comments. I see that a lot, man. I really can't stand it. If you're making a lesson, man, stop. If you're making a lesson, you got the title and you're in the lesson. Stop pausing the middle of your lesson to argue with somebody that's scoffing in the comments, man. I'm tired of seeing it, man. That's madness. Focus on the lesson and stop trying to cause. It be a lot of people that like that, man. They like that back and forth. They like the drama because they know that's what the people like. So just pay attention to a person, man. Just pay attention to how they doing things. Like the brother saying, pay attention to their life, man. But they can be a whole nother person behind that camera. Right? When the camera on, everybody holy. When that camera go off, when them lights go off.
Where the girls at?
When the lights go off, man, he rolling up a blunt. He doing all type of craziness. So that's what you got to pay attention to, man. Be aware of that. So this last one, this is the last one, but I'm gonna actually with two of them, but I'm gonna put them together. Last one I got was the people you meet when you first come into the truth may not always be here at the end, and you are a different creature. So when you first come into this truth, I know we had a group chat when I first came into this thing. A group chat deep for like 20 people, probably more than that. And a lot of them people ain't in the truth no more. I wasn't expecting that. I'm thinking when you first come into when you come into this thing, you always in this thing. Hold up. Yeah, I'm thinking when you first. What I bring it up? Hold up, Salaki. Matter of fact, hold that, King. Let me get this one. And I get the other ones. I skipped this one. life doesn't get easier when you come in the truth. I had skipped that. That's very important. Life does not get easier when you come into this truth. Because me personally, when I first came into the truth, I thought it was going to be cotton candy and lollipops. Oh, I'm an Israelite. What? Or I'm chosen by God. What? He a so-called black man. What? So I'm thinking it's just going to be sweet. I didn't know nothing about. Can you get Sirach 2-1? I didn't know nothing about Sirach 2-1 at the time. I didn't know nothing about him trying me through a fire, trying me through the furnace. I'm thinking it's just finna be cotton candy and hooray, hooray, hooray every single day, but that's just not the case.
Yeah, brother thought that, we might start getting treated like the real Jewish people. Like, oh, it's not. Hey, it's finna turn up for me then. Like,
yeah, man. Hey, man.
God's chosen people.
Yeah. I'm thinking I'm finna get the treatment the Edomites get.
Walking to a job promotion.
Hey, what it said on the screen? That what they tell you in the further freshman orientations, look to your left and to your right.
They tell you that and be like, hey, everybody not might graduate. Yeah. You want to make sure you study because, not everybody that you see here on your orientation gonna make it to graduation.
Hey, man.
Some people gonna get pregnant. Some people gonna flunk out. Some people gonna transfer. Like,
that's how it is in the truth. I remember, there was a brother when we first came into the truth, man. We watched his lesson, and he said to his congregation, he said, man, y'all look around. He said the same thing. Y'all look around, man. Don't expect to see the same number of people and the same people in the same room 2 years from now. Hell, even a year from now. You know what I'm saying? One thing about it's true. We see a lot of people come and go. I know earlier we talked about, sis might look good with her long dress on and her head wrap, right? But I've seen a lot of women coming in this thing with dresses and head wraps and back into the world with less clothes than what they had on before they came into the truth. You know what I'm saying? And so you gotta be careful.
Yeah, brother had touched on man. So everybody that come into the truth that came in the truth with you around the same time you did, they may not be here right with you at the end, right? They may not. So you just gotta expect that, man, because the Bible says it's gonna be it's a great falling away, man. The road is narrow. It is not for everybody. So a person might seem sincere. He come into this thing, he on fire like you, but then he start cooling off, and now he block you, and you see him in the grocery store, and he in the same person or she in the same person. So you gotta, just go ahead and have that in your mind, man, that people fall out the truth. People go back into the world. And that goes back to that parable that Christ said, but they go for different reasons. When temptation rise, or they may go in it for the love of money and the love of the world, they may go back, or they just can't deal with they can't deal with bearing their cross the same way Christ did. So you gotta expect that. But you got it, King.
This is Sirach chapter 2 and verse number 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation.
Right. So this is Sirach, man. It's some good advice. You're like, man, when you come and serve the Lord, prepare your soul for temptation. Now, I didn't prepare my soul for temptation. I didn't when I first came into this truth. I didn't because I didn't know. That's why we telling y'all, prepare your soul for temptation, because Satan finna come and try you. And you know how some people be like, well, this truth is harder than it was when I was in the world. That's why a lot of people go back into the world and start living worldly again, because they say, well, the truth is harder. I wasn't getting this type of backlash. I wasn't getting this type of persecution in the world. So this can't be the truth. So they go back into the world and start living how they was before, because they didn't count the cost. They didn't understand that it's normal for temptation to rise, because Satan trying you because you woken up. You wasn't really getting no backlash or nothing because you was living like the world when you was in the world. You wasn't getting no persecution from your family members because you celebrating Christmas and holidays like them. So when you wake up and start actually obeying what the Bible says, yes, temptation gonna rise because Satan is trying to stop you from receiving the kingdom. He's trying to stop you from receiving the blessings in Romans chapter 9 and verse 3 through 4. But you got it, King.
I was gonna say, man, you touched on something I wanted to talk about. When you in the world, man, the world's gonna always accept you no matter how good or how evil you are. That's the thing about the world. Your family, just because it's the holiday spirit, right? Your family could know that there's a rumor that you killed somebody last week, and the police are on a manhunt to find you, because you done adopted the YN culture, right? And holiday season come around, here go the oldest lady. Come on in here, baby. We're not worried about none of that today because it's Christmas, baby. Come on here and fix you a plate. They don't even care. You just killed somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when you living in the world, man, you're not gonna have no haters. You ain't gonna be persecuted. Life gonna be breezy. You're gonna have so many second chances in the world because people love seeing another person do bad because it makes them feel good for doing bad. So they're going to give grace to somebody that's doing bad. One thing about this truth is we hold ourselves so accountable that by default, we hold everybody else accountable because we like, if I got to do it, you got to do it. You know what I'm saying? If I got to get persecuted and I'm standing on business, you got to stand on business too. And if you're not, I'm going to say something.
And then when you don't want to do the stuff that that people do in the world, they automatically feel like you thinking that you better than them. Like, oh, he think he better than me because he go out and teach. Nigga, you grew up just like us. You grew up in the project just like us. You ain't no better than me. But all you know is just following the Bible.
I actually had some friends that used to talk like that about me, man. I came from out of the world, and I would hear from the grapevine. They would say stuff like, "Who does he think he is? He done started an organization. He's like he think that he a master teacher out there teaching and stuff. He got people following him and he making lives and stuff." And bro, it ain't even about that. If you had a conversation with me, you understand what I'm doing, and what I'm doing, you can do. Right? We're not doing nothing that we don't expect no other man or other woman to be able to do. But from the outside look at in, like Obadiah just said, they don't stop to think about, oh, that could be me. Because everything's from a competition standpoint when you're living in the world.
Right. And on top of that, people got to realize that it's easy to go back into the world, man, because there's a lot of, like the brothers say, temptation that people just don't want to give up. Not that you can't, right? But then they always do the thing like, the brother Azariel say, they like to misinterpret some of these scriptures. They think that the Lord is just supposed to take these problems away. They misinterpret when to say, with giving us, a way to bear the weight. They think that the Lord is just gonna say he don't put too much on you that you won't be able to bear. And that's why situations like telling people look to your left, look to your right, because the brother that's sitting next to you might not be sitting next to you in 2 years. Or the sister sitting next to you might not be sitting next to you in 2 years. That's why elders and leaders got to say stuff like that, because people just forget to come to this wisdom in Sirach 2, which is really one of my favorite, I guess you could say, places to go to in the scriptures, because again, it paints a picture that sometimes the grass may be greener, but you realize it takes a lot more to keep that grass green than what you thought. Saying that to say, this truth is just like that green grass. Look like a beautiful golf course, right? But at the same time, you didn't realize how much maintenance it took to get this grass to look this way. And some people get tired of doing that maintenance, so they want to go back to their regular residential yard,
Con, man, they go back to their vomit. That's the scripture say, right? As a dog go back to his vomit. What it say? As a dog go back to his vomit
so does a fool return to his folly. Yeah, Proverbs 26:11.
Con, the water king. So yeah, like a fool go back to his folly, man. And that's when they just go back, and then also they was comfortable in that state, man. Like the brother was saying, man, a lot of people they want to go back to the old way because that's when they got the best memories. They start reminiscing on the world and the memories that they had of doing wickedness, and they want to go back to that to have fun. They choose the fun over the truth. So you gotta make sure you prepare yourself. I mean, when it hit me, bro, I'm gonna say this again, one more precept we can just close out. I remember when temptation first hit me, man. I was in high school. Now, mind you, I think I said a little bit about this on when Get to Know Me, when the brothers had made that video. Bro, like when I first came into this thing just in high school, I was young, so I was like on fire. I'm at the lunch table just teaching, man. Everybody surrounded around me at the lunch table. You had people scoffing. Oh, this nigga, boy, he tripping. No, God don't got a chosen people. Everybody's God's people. You know, had people listening. Some people scoffing. Only knew Deuteronomy 28 and that Christ was black. That's all I knew. You know what I'm saying? So I had that zeal. So I felt like I was on cloud nine, not smoking, not high, but I just felt like, you know, my spirit was like, you know, I'm up there. Like, I just feel excited. Like I never knew this before, so I'm ready to tell everybody. All of a sudden, I seen the video, and this is how it happened. It be Satan. Came across the video. I think it was like, I forgot what the video was, but it had me questioning it. Cause I think I was studying like to the point where I'm exhausted, staying up all night, got school in the morning, but I'm staying up studying. So Satan came in. It was a video. I forgot what the video said, but it had me questioning the truth. Like, is this really real? Am I really God's people? It was to the point where one of the teachers at the school, he was a so-called Christian, a pastor, whatever. He was coming at me trying to debate me in school. He made a post on Instagram about the Hebrew Israelites. He made a whole post about the black Hebrew Israelites. But you know, he had me kind of doubting too, because I'm like, dang, is this truth real? Am I really an Israelite? I started looking at my hand. I mean, I'll never forget this. I looked at my hands in class. I'm like, damn, I could be. Am I an Edomite? I'm like, am I an Israelite or an Edomite? I'm looking at my hands. I started bugging out, man. So like, that was just the temptations and the tests and the Most High preparing me, you know, because that I never felt this before. I'm thinking in the truth I'm on fire, but he kind of slowed me down. They're like, hold up, you got to go through this. So when you get a doubt about the truth, is it real? You got to understand, you know, you got to remember you went through this before and relate back to this and how you overcame this. So first time I ever got attended, I was scared. I was battling. I'm up all night. This truth got to be real. It got to be real. Then in the back of my head, Satan coming, this ain't real. You know, this is all fantasy, right? You a Christian, or you Egyptian. I'm like, man. But I eventually, you know, with praying, the mercy of the Most High, I snapped out of it, man, and got back right. Sorry, brother, got it.
Yeah, man. I say this too, man. You know, as an honest man, I can't sit up here and say that there hasn't been a time where I kind of thought to myself, is this true? Yeah. Is it, you know what I'm saying? That, you know, the thought creeps in your mind, and I just want to, you know, thank God, thank the Father, man, because, you know, that's what real endurance looks like. Even when, you know, you start questioning it, you stay in this faith. And when you stay in this faith, even after you kind of, you know, got knocked back a little bit, the Most High always brings in reasons why this is the truth, right? Mm-hmm. Whether it be encounters with people, whether it be new information you come across. But that's why you got to do your due diligence to constantly, you know, it says fight your salvation with fear and trembling, right? Your own salvation. You got to make sure you're creating an anchor for yourself to be in this, right? Be in your history, be in your archaeology, be in your prophecy, be in your be out there on the highways and the hedges. You know what I'm saying? Talking to folks. A lot of times what anchors me is that we talk to random people, heathen. We talk to random heathen, not just your everyday white man, but we talk to, you know, Ishmaelites and Hamites and stuff like that. And, you know, before we even get to our spiel, they're already telling us who we are, right? They're already telling us that they know that we're Israelites, right? Conversations like that with people that don't even know what we got going on, those conversations kind of anchor me. But you got to be able to present yourself in those type of situations to give you the opportunity to make your anchor even sink deeper into these things. Because like the brother Obadiah was saying, man, you in this truth long enough. I speak as a man, but you might have those times where you know you kind of get knocked back and you start thinking like, man, this stuff sounds too good to be true. Like hey, somebody might have just wrote this to be playing with black folks, like you know what I'm saying. And so you got to find an anchor. You know what I'm saying?
I was gonna say, man, if you ever watched highlights of any sports player, right? It might be a soccer player, and you might look like or it might be a girl playing soccer. You might be like, dang, she nice at soccer. You know, the way she make that move, she kicked it in between their legs, then she slid, and she did some kind of juggle move. Or the brother might be playing basketball. You saw the defender come up and he spin around the defender and made the layup. Or you might be watching somebody playing boxing, training for boxing, and you like, dang, they so quick with it. They got cat-like reflexes. Their hand-eye coordination so good. I'm here to let you know that they had to fail a couple of times to get like that. They had to be cut a couple of times to get like that. They had to be hit a couple of times to get like that. They had the ball stolen from them a couple of times to get like that. Right? There's plenty of times where veterans, they may be like, "Hey, don't tell him about it. Don't he not putting his hand up. Don't tell him about it. When he throw that punch and he open up, I'm a deck him. It's gonna hurt, but he gonna learn not to do that again. You see him, they line up, another throw it in, boom. He might be done for the day. They icing his head and everything. But now that brother, you see that brother highlights. He ducking it, you know what I'm saying? But you didn't see when he got,
And some people don't make it after they get hit. The brother sent a video yesterday about this. Sometimes you get hit like that one time. Sometimes people check out after that. But that's where I'm talking about. Endurance comes to where you get knocked back. You still put your faith in God, no matter if you kind of shaky, right? You tell yourself, nah, this got to be true, even if you're not feeling that way, and you got to keep coming back every day.
Man. Even like, for example, basketball, right? You might go for a layup on this one rivalry team, and the same dude is beating your ball off the backboard. So you say, well, I got something for him next game. He embarrassed me this game, but next game, Rondo, he flying and you making the layup, and now you on Sports Center making a highlight. You might be playing football, and you might be a quarterback, right? And your line, your offensive line is weak on the right side. And whenever y'all play this one team, they know that, and it's a dude that come, he knocked the breath out of you every time. And guess what? Next time, after you done got your breath knocked out of you, next time you see him coming, what you do? Yeah, spin around, and he miss you, right? Everybody see the highlight. They see you. They see you street teaching. They see you making lessons, but they didn't see all those times that you had to prepare yourself, right? All those times where you got the breath knocked out of you and you had to recuperate because you prepared yourself for temptation, right? I'll end by saying this. When I first came into the truth a couple of years, I was probably like 2 years into the truth. It was a prominent camp that we always used to go to. And it was a brother that was there that we'd always see. And I remember it's funny because the brother Obadiah mentioned the gas station. I ran into this brother at the gas station. And I'm new in the truth. So my zeal is, I said, Shalom, hey, Shalom. Hey, that's brother Shalom, King. This brother did not turn around. He did not turn around. I get up on him. I got to talk to him like a regular person. Hey, excuse me. Hey, what's up, bro? Then he turns around. Hey, what's going on? I said, what's up? You at that camp, right? I was just there. I saw you last Saturday, ain't it? And he said, no, I ain't with them no more. Something happened. And I was like, all right, brother didn't have no fringes on. Brother stopped saying shalom. Brother was like, so you're going to have some brothers like the brother Denal just say, get knocked out of this thing because they didn't prepare themselves for temptation. Satan You know, Satan is ready to give you that blow. Oh, he leaving his guard down. Let him get that good news. Let him feel like he's doing the right thing. Let's see if he get up. Satan is waiting for that. So a lot of us, we came into this truth just for Satan to hit us with that right hook. And now, you know, the Most High and Satan trying to see how we're going to react to it. Now, that right hook could have been your job. It could have been your spouse. It could have been a family member. It could have been your favorite teacher turned on you. It could have been, you know, anything. You know what I'm saying? But will you stand the test of time? Have you prepared your soul? And like the sister said earlier, did you count the cost?
Real talk, man. Hey, I remember that one time. Hey, I don't know if y'all probably remember this when we was at the fair and we got checked. Brother trying to check us, man. See, we had our fringes on. What y'all with us?
Yeah. I talk about that all the time. The brother came up talking about some. Well, I know he came up to me. That same brother came up to me talking about some. Oh, his brother got the baby fringes on. You know what I'm saying? Brothers know I done talked about that brother several times. You know, a funny thing about it, you know, the week before you joined the camp, we ran into him downtown with no fringes on. But that's another story for another day.
Con, I want to ask if brothers can read one precept, Acts 14:22. Since we on the topic of understanding, you know, what it is that we need to be doing, man, which is pretty much enduring, you know, because again, like the brother read in Sirach 2, you know, if you come in to serve the Lord, you got to prepare for temptation, right? But Acts 14:22, it reads, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, right? And that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of God, right? Hey, we got to continue in the faith because we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom, right? Again, that goes back to the analogy I brought out earlier. Sometimes, the grass is greener on this side for sure. The problem is that it's a lot more work to keep this grass green, right? And people realize how much work it is and they don't want to do it. Therefore, they go back to their regular yard. But you got to continue in the faith. You got to continue in the good works. You got to remember your first love, right? It was the Lord who loved us first. So we got to do our best to show our love for him by keeping his commandments, by making sure that regardless of what we go through in life, hey, we steady. We steady as a rock, like the brother Denal brought out on his lesson. You know, we ain't sitting up here getting too high on our good days and we not getting too low on our bad days. You know, we kind of even keel all the way through. And you got to have that sense of resiliency, and you got to have that sense of poise about you in order to last long in the truth, because again, things do happen. And that's what causes a lot of people to kind of fade away. Like the brother Denal was talking about, a brother that we, you know, met a while back. But sometimes, man, you lose that poise, or you don't have no poise. And when things go wrong, you stop wearing fringes. You know what I'm saying? Or when you think that, you know, you at a certain level in the truth, you refer to somebody fringes as baby fringes. You make a joke about it, but at the end of the day, you know, long as somebody keeping the commandments, it don't matter what stage of development you think they in. You know, at the end of the day, through much tribulation is how we gonna get into this thing, and everybody has to always remember that. And that would be the main thing I tell people when they first come into the truth. Do not think that it is easy, because it's gonna be way harder than what you think it really is. You know, it's hard to go against the Lord, but it's even harder to be with him, to walk with him. And it's not in the sense that it sucks, but it's in the sense that it requires a lot more discipline, right? In the world, you can do what you want to do pretty much. I'm not going to say with no consequence, but a lot of times you can do what you want to do in the world, right? And you'll pay for it later. But in the truth, you realize how much more discipline it takes to live this set apart lifestyle. So we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom. We always got to remember that.
Con, man, that's some real stuff, man. That's real talk. That's a mighty precept too, man. It's telling you, like just like Sirach 2:1, you know, it's telling you through much tribulation, you're gonna go through much tribulation to enter into the kingdom, man. So you know, you're gonna have to fight. You know, so all praise to the Most High. Let me get this last precept, Kings. 2 Corinthians 5:17. And the last thing I would say to somebody about something they need to know coming into this truth, that, you know, when you repent, renew your mind, and start keeping the commandments, you're not the same person you was before. Because you may have people continue to try to throw that, oh, you ain't holy, or you ain't godly. They love saying that you used to do this, you used to do that. But it don't matter what they say. The Bible, this is what the Bible says. You got it, King.
2 Corinthians 5:17. It says, therefore, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new.
Right. So the old things that you did foolishly, unknowingly, that person that you used to be, they used to know you, they used to call you by your street name, T-Rock. You ain't T-Rock no more when you come into the truth and repent. You not YN Jamal no more. You ain't Tamika hashtag on the poll. That's your Instagram. You ain't your Instagram no more. You ain't Tamisha hashtag the poll no more. Right? That's the old you. So you gotta understand this and keep this in your mind when you come and serve the Most High. It don't matter what people saying. It don't matter if people try to tell you that you're the same person. You're not that same person no more, man. So keep that in your mind, and you'll be all right. So your brothers had something else. Come on, man. But that was it, man, for tonight's Wisdom Wednesday. Just a few things to know before you come into this truth. And you know, it's good to tell somebody this, that you may be in the truth for a little minute, but you know a person that's trying to learn about the truth. Like, send them this video, man. Send them this video and tell them to watch it so they can kind of have an idea of what to expect in this truth. So yeah, man. Who brother is anybody teaching tomorrow? Or it's Friday?
Yeah. So we're not gonna be on tomorrow, but we'll be back Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I think the brother Azrael teaching Friday. I want to say he's teaching Friday
and Saturday. Friday and Saturday, brother Azrael.
So Friday and Saturday, brother Azrael is teaching, man. So y'all be on the lookout for that. So with that, I'm gonna give all honor and glory to the Most High God Yahweh, in the name of His only begotten Son Yahweh Shai. Say Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.